The most powerful boundaries you will ever set will never be announced. They will not arrive with a speech, a confrontation, or an ultimatum. Nobody will see them happen. And yet the people around you will feel them almost immediately. Something will shift in how they speak to you, how they treat you, and how much access they feel they have to your time, your energy, and your peace. This is the strange and underestimated power of silent boundaries. And most people never discover them because they are too busy waiting for the right words to say. Silent boundaries are not about silence as avoidance. They are about action over announcement. They are choices you make about how you live, who you allow near the most important parts of yourself, and what you simply stop tolerating without making it a conversation. And they change everything. Not eventually, almost immediately. The first silent boundary is deciding what you will no longer explain. There are choices in your life, about your time, your relationships, your direction, your rest, that you have been over-explaining to people who were never going to understand them anyway. The silent boundary is simply stopping. You make the choice. You live it. You do not hold a meeting about it. This boundary is almost invisible to others, and yet it is immediately felt as a new kind of confidence that people respond to without fully understanding why. The second silent boundary is controlling what you emotionally react to in public. You choose, deliberately and quietly, that certain provocations will not get a visible response from you. Not because you don't feel them, because you have decided that your reaction is yours, and that some people do not deserve the information of knowing they affected you. This boundary is not suppression. It is ownership of your own emotional expression, and the person who cannot rattle you eventually stops trying. The third silent boundary is limiting what personal information you share and with whom. You stop narrating your struggles to people who have not earned that level of access, not with a statement, not with coldness. You simply become someone who listens more and reveals less in spaces that have not proven themselves safe. People notice the depth of someone who chooses carefully what they share. It creates a presence that commands quiet respect. The fourth silent boundary is removing yourself from environments that consistently cost you your peace. You stop attending the gatherings that leave you drained. You stop engaging with the conversations that circle the same toxic territory. You do this without explanation and without guilt. Presence is not loyalty, and your absence from spaces that harm you is not rudeness. It is self-preservation delivered silently. The fifth silent boundary is choosing not to absorb other people's emotional states as your own responsibility. When someone is upset, you can be present without being consumed. When someone is negative, you can remain grounded without matching their frequency. This boundary lives entirely inside you. Nobody knows you have set it, but its effects are immediate because you stop being the person whose day is determined by whoever happens to be struggling near them. The sixth silent boundary is deciding that your time has a different value than you previously assigned it. You stop being immediately available for everything. You stop responding to every message the moment it arrives. You let things wait that can wait. This is not rudeness and it is not game playing. It is simply the natural behavior of someone who has recognized that their time is finite and therefore worth protecting. People recalibrate their expectations of you almost without realizing it. The seventh silent boundary is committing to a standard of behavior toward yourself that you refuse to compromise regardless of external pressure. How you speak to yourself in private, what you allow yourself to settle for, what you are and are not willing to continue. This internal standard, held consistently and quietly, becomes the foundation from which every other boundary in your life becomes easier to hold. Here is the truth that makes all 7 of these remarkable. Silent boundaries require no permission, no confrontation, and no agreement from anyone else. They require only a decision, followed by the discipline to live it.